Hi, welcome to Turn-Based Besties, a podcast for two grown adults with no free time talk about their favorite RPGs. I'm DJ.
And I'm Sam, and we're besties that love to game.
And today, we will be discussing, Sam will be discussing Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, longest title ever.
It gets longer.
It does. Wait, really?
Yes, because, so this might not seem too timely to folks that we're talking about this game that originally came out in the Wii U in 2015 and then came out on the Switch 1 in 2025. But a Switch 2 version has come out just last month, so a few weeks ago. And the reason it's longer is because it's the Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, Switch 2 Edition.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
I hate.
Wait, does it look... Well, I guess we'll get into it. We'll get into that later when we're actually talking about the game.
Sure. But before we get into it, what's been going on with you, DJ?
Well, I'm not currently in Boise, Idaho, but last time we recorded, I was about to head to Idaho. And when this recording comes out, I will be back in Idaho. I had a couple days off, so I was able to sneak home for like 3 days. And
oh yeah, you told me you were going to fly back.
Yeah, so I was able to sneak home for a couple days. Not sneak, I'm not like keeping it hidden or anything. But, so yeah, I'm loving my time out at Opera, Idaho. I'm sure no one out there will listen to this podcast, but too bad because y'all are awesome. It's a great cast, a good time. I am kind of excited to go back and, finish out my next 2 weeks there.
That'd be fun. That'd be good.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you should have snuck back and then just not told Max and then just have been like peeking over the bushes.
Like, surprise, I'm home.
Yeah, that would have been great. You should have done that.
I don't know if you would have loved that, but, it's fine.
Well, we had some surprises too on our trip home from Cleveland. We were out there for a family thing for Taylor's family.
Yeah.
And on our way back, unfortunately, so we were flying into KC Airport. There was a bomb threat at the KC Airport. It ended up being just everybody was safe, everything was fine. We did not know that at the time. So we had to make a split-second decision. They were evacuating terminals. We thought this is going to take the whole day. Who knows what's going to happen? We have our 3 kids, and we were with my in-laws, brother-in-law and his wife, Haley and Pepper. And anyway, they have 2 kids. And we were just like, we got to get home. We don't have an option to not be home. So we both rented cars and car seats and drove 9 hours. It's like 7.5, but with kids, took us 9 hours into the dead of night. And so that was an adventure because we love going on adventures here at Turn-Based Besties.
I mean, that's true, but not unexpected adventures like that. Well, at least you had your favorite adventuring party with you.
That's right. Yeah. No, they did great. The kiddos did amazing, actually, all told, for so many random things being thrown at them. However, I will say, at one point, there was a 50-mile stretch where there was a dearth of toilets or stops.
Oh, gotcha.
And she needed to go and thought she could hold it, but with 15 miles left and could not hold it. So we had to pull over and got to do her first side of the road moment.
Well, I just feel like when people are with you, Sam, they have side of the highway moments.
That's right. That's why I bring out the best in folks.
You really do. And that's a story we will tell on our Patreon.
There you go. Well, on that note, let's hop into it today. Let's chat about Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I'm the one that's played this. I will convince the collective you why y'all might want to play this title. This is a third-person action RPG, I would call it. However, it's kind of like there's some timed button presses. It's a little bit more strategic, but it's not turn-based. It's more action RPG.
For sure.
Developed by Monolith Soft, published by Nintendo. All the Xenoblade games are on Nintendo systems. So originally, as I said, on the Wii U, kind of a doomed system, but that was back in April of 2015 when that was released. Then they made the definitive edition on Switch 1, and that was March of last year, 2025. And then just this year, a few weeks back on February 19th of 2026, they released the Switch 2 edition, which upgraded the visuals and upgraded the frame rate. So it runs smoother and up to 60 FPS and up to 4K, I believe, in docked mode, which is pretty impressive. You will, if you read about it or hear about it, there is some controversy out there, though some people are saying that some of the AI upscaling they did kind of made it look muddied at times or kind of flickery or shiny and shimmery in some textures. I have not noticed that. I have played both versions. It was a long time. It was a few months since I played the Switch 1 version.
Yeah.
Before I hopped back onto the Switch 2. But I definitely tell the frame rate difference. It is buttery smooth now. And I don't know. I guess I'm just not as attuned to the visuals, but I'm not telling an issue. I cannot tell an issue personally.
Well, I also can't tell a difference between the previews I've seen on the YouTube, so
Yeah.
maybe we're not great judges of that. A quick note, Sam. This
Yes.
is part of the greater Xeno series, which
It is.
Yeah, which those who may not be aware of it, the original game Xeno Gears, I believe, back on the original PlayStation.
I think that was the
which
first one, yep.
you and I have never played. On our episode when we talked about games that we should have played, I think you and I will both say that's definitely one that we should have probably played at some point. I think Xenogears was mostly standalone, and then it went to something called Xenosaga, which those look really intriguing as well on the PlayStation 2.
I keep hearing rumors that they're going to remake some of those, which would be pretty awesome.
That'd be really great because I wanna emulate them, but also if they're gonna just remake them, then I'll just wait. You know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, that was my little interjection of like it's part of a greater series, the Xeno series.
Yeah, and all of them are well acclaimed. I don't think there's any stinkers in the bunch. From
Yeah, I
what
don't
I've
think
heard.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this one though, what's going on? What's the story of Xenoblade Chronicle X? So Earth finds itself stuck in the middle of an intergalactic war between two alien nations. Unfortunately, the whole Earth is destroyed in this precarious situation, but luckily, humans had built these ark ships and sent them out from each of the major cities to look for habitable planets to rekindle humanity on. So you take control of a protagonist on this alien but already inhabited world named Mira, and you get to explore the world, unlock the secrets of Mira. You're also searching for what they call the Lifehold, which is part of your ark ship that broke off and contains most of the humans are still stuck on the Lifehold, so you have to go save them. And, you know, at the same time, you're still kind of battling some of the alien nations that chased you here and potentially some other alien bad guy races out there. Lots of secrets to behold. But lots of exploration on this alien world while you're trying to survive after the ark ship landed there on Mira.
Great. So what I'm hearing is that humans went to another planet and now they're going to colonize it. Awesome.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
Not just
cool.
not just terraform it because it's already, you know, ready for life, but they're going to actually take over the planet. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little fraught. But we make friends with all the some of the aliens.
Except for the ones you kill.
Except for the ones you kill. All right, so gameplay. What are you doing? Well, there's kind of exploration and combat, as there are in most RPGs. And exploration is so amazing in this game. My favorite part. What do you do? It's a whole open world. You get to explore basically all of Mira. There's multiple continents, and it is just teeming with things to see in life. It's colorful. There's multiple elevations. You'll have huge, top of these mountaintops way down into the bottom of caves, and there's always life and aliens and things to see at every vantage point, which is really super cool. How do you do this? How do you get around? Well, you can walk and you can run. You have an awesome kind of almost like an anti-gravity jump. Your jump is just insane. You're bounding across Mira. No stamina issues. You can just run and bound all day long. And that's fun enough, but then several chapters in, you get the skells or the mechs that you've maybe seen if you've seen any previews of this game, which are your mech suits that can initially jump even further and help you get to new areas, but then you can fly. So once you get a flying capability, you can explore everywhere, which is
Great.
Awesome.
You can colonize and fly all in the same breath.
There you go. Yeah. Something that kind of exists is the map system is pretty cool, and there's a whole mapping exploration side activity where you're using this system called Frontier Nav. Basically, the map is is set in hexagons. Each hexagon will have a Frontier Nav beacon, which you need to find and unlock, and then you can fast travel to that point, and it'll kind of allow you to see that whole area on the map. And then it will also, in each of these hexagons, there's an activity or an item or a treasure or a thing to fight that's in that spot. And if you do that thing for each hexagon, then you have totally explored that hexagon, and you get a certain percentage of that continent that you're on. And then based on each 5% increment, you get more rewards. So it's just a system of rewarding exploration for giving you more items back, and makes it a very fun loop of, hey, I'm exploring, I'm seeing these cool places, but also if I do these things, I get more loot.
Okay, cool.
Which is fun. Yeah.
Great.
So when you find bad guys, which are some of the aliens which are out in the open world, so not random battles, you can see them on the open world, or sometimes it's kind of the more sentient alien life that's, wielding weapons and yelling at you, and you can fight any of them and all of them. It is a third-person perspective action RPG, but you will have auto attacks, so you will move around them and be auto attacking, but that doesn't do much damage. It's more the arts that do more of your damage, which are your special attacks. You will have a party of 4 of you attacking at once, and you take control of your protagonist. You can switch perspective to the other ones, but you primarily take control of the protagonist.
Cool. I was going to ask, can you switch on the fly if you wanted to switch?
It's
to the
not
other
as much
people?
on the fly. You kind of have to go to the menu options.
Gotcha.
So it's not as much. Yeah, it's not as much switching on the fly.
And are there it's not just a set like you and a set 3 other people. It's like a number of different people that you can recruit to be in your party, right?
Yep. There's like 24 different characters you can recruit
Cool.
throughout the whole time, and then each of them will be locked into one class. But you can select the arts you want them to use, the specific battle arts, and then kind of customize them a little bit that way. But primarily, your party customization will be based on that person's kind of class and the specific arts they have access to.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So these battle arts, you'll have kind of a palette of them. So each weapon has arts that are linked to it. So like your longsword will have arts linked to it. Your dual blades will have arts linked to it. Your ray gun, all these things. And so you basically will have a melee weapon and a range weapon or a shield for most folks. And so you have 2 of those. Each of them have their own set of arts, and then you'll kind of select which ones you want. And I say palette because they are organized by color. So you'll have green arts, purple arts, blue arts, yellow arts, and those correspond to melee attacks, ranged attacks, buffs, debuffs, and auras, which are basically a special kind of buff. So it's kind of nice, unless, actually, I don't know, though. I don't know how accommodating this game is to colorblind folks if that's harder to see. We'd have to see.
I bet they have like a accessibility option.
I'm sure they do. I didn't think about it. But either way, so you have your palette of arts that you pick. Each of them will be on a cooldown. So after you use it, based on how powerful it is or how much you've upgraded it, it can take longer to cool down. And like I said, some of them are melee, some of them attack, some of them will add buffs to your team, some of them will debuff the enemies, some of them will increase your defense and evasion. They do a whole bunch of things. And then you also have kind of a TP, which is your mana, that allows you to use certain arts that are more powerful but require TP. Can do more damage, can have more powerful effects. And then there's another activity called Overdrive, which pretty much just speeds up. When you have enough TP, 3,000 TP, you can activate that. It will speed up your cooldowns, and you can attack faster.
Cool. What does TP stand for? Technical points? Or
I think it's technical points.
Cool.
Yes. I believe so. You can check me on that, but I'm almost positive that's right.
I believe you.
Okay. So classes, we mentioned that there are a bunch of different classes that you'll unlock, and as you advance and get more EXP in each class, you'll unlock more abilities. Great. But then you can mix and match. So eventually you'll get to the point that all these abilities that you've unlocked and all the weapons that you've unlocked and all the arts that you've unlocked by unlocking the classes, you can mix and match to really customize your character.
Cool. Do you have a favorite, sorry to put you on the spot here, but do you have like a favorite class or a favorite couple of classes that you really enjoyed?
So what's interesting is it's more based on kind of the weapons and the arts, because eventually what happens is once you've unlocked all the classes and all the abilities, then you'll probably go back to the first base class because it has the most like skill slots that you can put things in, and you can use any of the weapons. So it's kind of weird how that works, but it's more like you're moving through the classes to get the abilities to unlock the skills, and then you go back to the base one because you have more slots. It's kind of weird how that works.
Cool.
Yeah. Let's see here. We talked about the weapons already, and then some of the specific ones. You know, I mentioned long blades, dual blades, javelin, ray gun. So lots of cool, fun stuff there. And then you have a whole different thing of scale combat. So when you're in the mech, it's very similar though. You'll have a palette of scale arts, and those are generally more powerful, and they are based on the weapons that you equip to your scale. So you'll just kind of like outfit them with armor, but also weapons, and then each weapon will have its own art.
I gotcha. So do you know what skell means in this context of the game?
I don't know. There probably was some cutscene where they talked about what it's an acronym for. Did you look it up?
It's derived from exoskeleton. That's all.
Well, there you go. That's a nice little tidbit. Thank you, DJ.
Yeah, you're sure welcome.
They probably said that at some point, but
wait, are you telling me that you didn't read all the dialogue? This is shocking news.
I did not read all the dialogue. You got me there. And so, yeah, we mentioned I mentioned a lot of things. Like the customizability overall is basically crazy. So, yeah, you'll have your primary weapons and your secondary weapons, and each of them will have their own arts. This is going to get, kind of overwhelming sounding. And then each of those arts, you can upgrade those based on, how many you get this different battle point system, whatever. You can upgrade those. You'll get gear, which is like a helmet. Each arm gets a slot. I think your legs get a slot. You have a chest slot, and then you can add augments onto those. So the weapons get augments, which are like increased damage to insects, increased damage to this, increased damage, increased range damage, increased crit. You can add a whole bunch of things, but also the gear gets different augments. And then you can mix your class that we mentioned, but generally that just matters for the number of skill slots.
Sure.
You can mix the partners. So out of a few dozen, you can pick which 3 you want to be with you. And then you can mix your scale. You can pick the scale, and then the armor for the scale, and the weapons for the scale. So like, that's what's good and bad about this, is there's so much that like, if I had one game ever to play, this might be one of them, because you could just go forever and explore and find new things and, spend a long time grinding out for the right gear and whatever exactly you wanted. But if you got a million games to play, you got to kind of pick and choose what you're going to do.
If you run a video game podcast, you have to play a couple other games besides this. But
exactly.
I feel like you have been to the folks who listen to every episode, it's like, what game are you playing? I feel like for the past year, it's been like, well, I'm dipping my toes into Xenoblade Chronicles X. Like, I'm still playing through that right now. So
because you can keep doing it forever.
I know.
So, or we can just switch gears. We can just shift to a Xenoblade Chronicles X podcast only.
Oh no, I don't think I want to do that. You can do that. You can be a spinoff if you want.
There you go. Well, moving on though, it is a pretty game. It's not supposed to be hyper realistic, and this is a Wii U game, like we said, so it's not looking crazy, but I think it looks good. It's definitely more anime style, like I said, not hyper realistic, but the visuals overall are stunning. The Mira is beautiful. It's a breathtaking place to behold, and it's really cool flora and fauna on this planet. They really kind of thought out what the aesthetic is for all these alien creatures, and it's fun to see what life there is here. It's a brighter, maybe sometimes kind of pastel color palette, I would say. They could improve on the character models and the faces, but that's probably just because it's a Wii U game.
Well,
so
it's over a decade old. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem.
I'm looking at it right now, like Switch versus Switch 2, even just the upgrades, and even just Switch 1 is like, it looks like a Switch game for the most part. I'm sorry, we're not going to play most Switch games thinking that we're going to get Xbox or PlayStation graphics.
Agreed. But the fact that you have this giant open world and it's running at 60 FPS and you can fly around and go across from this humongous multiple continents is pretty cool.
That's crazy.
So, and it also sounds good. And I know you have done some research on the composer, so I want to hear what you found.
I sure will. So the composer is Hiroyuki Sawano, and really prolific composer, actually. So he's been described as being influenced by Yoko Kanno. She did Ghost in the Shell and Cowboy Bebop for like just a couple of things to get the idea. Hans Zimmer, Danny Elfman, who are prolific American film composers. So this guy's style, I did steal this part from Wikipedia. I'm just going to read it because they said it better than I could say it.
How do we know it's true?
I know, right? This could be anybody, but it was probably a musicologist who wrote it. So I trust my ilk.
You know,
So-
there's all those trolls online trying to write BS on Hiroyuki Sawano's wiki page.
Right? Yeah. So from his wiki page, his pieces tend to have exceedingly strange titles featuring numbers, symbols, and letters from various different alphabets. He stated that he decided this because he wants people to be able to listen to the songs in their own way and have their own reaction. I don't ever want to fix the image of what's happening on screen too much within the track title. Cute, 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 cute. So just an idea of other things that he's done outside of video games. Ton of anime. Stuff that some folks might know would be Attack on Titan, the series and the movies. He also did stuff for the One Piece series and a little bit for Gundam as well. He's won a number of Crunchyroll awards for his music, in addition to Tokyo Anime Awards, New Type Anime Awards, and just a ton of others. Like, this guy has won so many composing awards.
His wiki page is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, and what's even more ridiculous is it's not like he's been composing since the 80s or anything, right? I mean, maybe he has been, but for video games, his first video game was in 2014.
Yeah, and he has a whole bunch of like his own albums even on there. I saw.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about just like specifically the music in this game.
Sure. So I like the music. You'll hear varied reports about the music in Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Oh no.
Some people aren't jazzed about it just because it can be a little off the wall. It can be a little weird sometimes. So some are alt-rocky. There are some guitar string kind of tinny tracks that I thought running across a sci-fi planet really gave some Firefly vibes, you know, like that cult series with Nathan Fillion, where they were, you know, kind of like Wild West, but also space. There's even some hip hop with some rap thrown in there. Yeah, you'll be running around this city and then there's somebody rapping, and it's at first maybe a little off-putting again, but I dug it. And then with his background, it makes sense that a lot of it sounds like anime music. Almost like an intro or an outro to an anime. Specifically, maybe even the flight theme, which is probably the most questionable one that people have issue with. But I kind of dug it. I felt like I'm flying around and it's like there should be credits going across the screen and it's the end of, you know, some, again, Attack on Titan or some, you know, crazy anime. So I was okay with it. I liked it.
Cool.
Let's see here. Then, you know, overall, if I had to give my favorite aspect of the game, then I would say exploration. It's exploration. It is just so much fun to travel across Mira. It is so much fun to fly around in the scales, to go to each, you know, nav point, those beacons, unlock them, figure out, hey, what else can I do here? What are these aliens in this area of the world? Can I go there? That's the other thing, is like a lot of games are, you know, locked by your level. And here you're not locked by your level. Like, you can go wherever, but you might die.
Yeah, it'll punish you.
Go wherever. Yeah. Exactly. Visually, I like the aesthetic they're going for. I like that I can just fly across the whole planet. I can see they made a world, and I love looking at it. And so again, I felt immersed in Mira. It was cool. I like the customizability, but to a point. You know, I wish I did, and I guess this jumps into my things I didn't like maybe about it. That so many times in a game, I can have an idea, and I can say, this is how I want my team to work. This is the aspects I want. Maybe it's not completely optimal, but I want to focus on this type of attack. I want this person to be this type of class. I want this person to do this thing. And the amount of grinding I would have to do to farm the parts and the money and the slots and the everything in this game just did not make that feasible at times. And so then I had to be like, you know what? I'm going to make the best system I can with what I have, because I'm not going to spend 10 hours making the gear I want. So that was hard on me because I want to make the build I want, but it's okay.
You're a maximizer. That's what I always say.
I am. But anyway, so that was kind of the thing is there's just probably too many systems and too big on the grind would be the negative aspects. So, I would say play it if you love sci-fi, if you love open worlds, if you love RPGs, if you love mechs and flying around on mechs. But maybe don't play it if you don't love humongous open world RPGs or maybe aren't a big fan of sci-fi or the other things I told you are off-putting to you, like you don't want too many systems. Then
Sure.
it's maybe not a game for you.
How big? How many hours did you put into it?
I have 80 hours in it right
Huh?
now.
It's a big game.
Yeah, and I'm probably a couple hours away from finishing the I finished the base game, and I'm in this epilogue that's new in the definitive edition, and so I'll probably finish in the next couple of hours. And then I see myself kind of jumping in every once in a while to fight some of the super bosses, maybe just to have fun if I have a moment. But
Cool.
but yeah,
Cool. Great. Well, Sam, I think you did a great job convincing people for this one. I mean, like, I'm sure there are going to be people who listen to it and say, you know what, maybe I'll give it a go. Like, you might convince Max, my husband, when he listens to this, to play this game.
I hope I convince some people. But like I said, yeah, it's a big investment. You got to know what you're getting into, and you got to know what you like.
I mean, honestly, it doesn't sound that over. It sounds like it's complex, for sure, but it doesn't sound like it's overwhelmingly complex. Like I have. This has been one of those games that I've been looking at for like a year now. Like, should I get it? No, I don't know. I'm gonna play these other games instead. Should I get it? I don't know. And I this is one of those that I kind of want to be able to just say, all right, this is what I'm playing for the next 80 hours. And I don't know if I have that desire yet. But like this game is always in the back of my mind when I'm looking for a new game to play.
Well, good. Yeah, and that's the nice thing about it with all the systems is you can kind of just be like, well, I don't have to look at those systems. I don't have to do this. So,
Fair.
you can kind of just give up on some of them. But
Oh, question. Is there a difficulty? Is there like easy, normal, difficult, or is it just the same difficulty?
that's a good question. I actually never changed it,
Oh.
and it seemed okay to me difficulty-wise. So
Cool.
I don't even know.
Maybe there isn't. It was 10 years ago when it wasn't that common to have like an easy difficulty. So I
I'm
don't
not
know.
sure. Well, I'm trying to see what does the internet say.
What does the internet say? Probably only truths.
Yeah, I think there's normal, hard, and easy. I
Great.
believe. So I was probably just on normal.
Great. I'd probably play it on easy.
Well, there you go. So you got the option, and then you definitely wouldn't have to look at as many of the systems.
Nifty. Well, what else are you? Well, since you're about to finish this one this evening, what else are you playing now, or are you gonna be playing in the next couple of weeks?
I am gonna hop into Monster Hunter Stories 3.
Nice.
I've been watching too many videos. It's getting too many good reviews.
You're so excited for it.
I'm so excited for it. I can play the demo now for a few hours, and then it comes out, I think, in like a week. So
Nice.
I'm just gonna have to. It's too enticing. How about you?
I just started my first ever Pokemon game. Ever. I've never played Pokemon before. So I'm playing Pokemon Fire Red on the Switch 2. And I also just started, I texted you about this, a pixel psychological horror turn-based RPG called Dreamed Away. And I can already tell it's going to be really depressing. But it's great so far. And it's like
But
seven or 8 hours.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I need to look more into it. But just the buzzwords that you threw out for it kind of sound like you just made, a large language model spit out a game for you that hits on all your likes.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of
Pixel, turn-based, horror.
great. I'm there.
Yeah, exactly.
Win, triple win. Yeah. So
Exactly.
So yeah,
Exactly.
Pokemon Fire Red for the very first time, Dreamed Away, and I'm itching along, just like itching, just crawling along in Final Fantasy VIII because I'm gonna really wait to get into it until you start playing it.
I will be there at some point.
I know you will be, and then we'll review it on the pod.
There you go.
Well, speaking of the pod, Samuel, where can people find us?
Oh, so many places. They can find us on Instagram. They can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podcast, got it, Overcast, YouTube Music, probably bunches of other places. Check out our YouTube channel, our TikTok, which is rockin'. Go to our socials. Let us know your thoughts on Xenoblade Chronicles X definitive edition. You can also email us comments, questions, turnbasedbesties@gmail.com.
Heck yeah.
As you know, we release episodes Friday mornings, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Central time, about every other Friday. We're pretty consistent with that nowadays.
Yeah.
So please tune in. That's when you can expect to find them. Big thanks to everybody who is following us, but we need more. Please reach out. Let your friends and family know to follow us on social media, and let's keep growing that group out there. Oh, don't forget our subreddit, too.
Oh, yeah, our subreddit. Yeah, I mean, you know what? We have some cool merch ideas that if we get a couple hundred more folks on Instagram, we're going to put that merch out, and we will donate the proceeds to some charity that our fans pick, because we're kind of doing okay on money. So
yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. Please do that. We'll also do a March Madness bracket for the charity we should choose, because we shall be doing a March Madness bracket on RPG characters.
That's right, because
next week
we did this last year with just like different RPG games, and for about an hour on Reddit, we kind of broke Reddit with it. So because people had some opinions about it. So
let's see what their opinions are on their favorite and least favorite. Or actually, we'll do favorite this year, but maybe next year we'll do least favorite, most hated RPG characters.
That's a good idea. And eventually maybe we'll do multiple brackets at the same time in March, but that's when we'll have more of a team.
I can't believe it's been a year since last time, but it's a fun old time. And, it'll be an adventure when we do this year's March Madness bracket. And I always love when we go on adventures together with each new episode here on Turn-Based Besties.
I love that too, Sam. Well, as you always say, when everything in the world points right, maybe go left and see what you find. I'm DJ.
And I'm Sam, and this has been another episode of Turn-Based Besties. Bye.
Bye.